What is up, guys? Rick Kakis here, and what you're seeing in the background is something that I'm sure a lot of subscribers did not expect: Call of Duty Black Ops 3. Now, the reason you're seeing that is kind of the topic of today's video, and it is the fact that Call of Duty is changing, and it's something that I think all of us as gamers should be excited for. Now, this is a little bit of speculation as well as a little bit of facts, but the reason I'm making this video is because I've been playing Black Ops 3 as of late. I cannot explain why. Do you ever just get the itch to go back and play like a random game? Like you're sitting there wondering what to do, or you're not thrilled with what you've currently been playing, Destiny, and you just think, you know, I'm gonna try something else. I'm gonna try, in my case, it was Black Ops 3. Hop back on the first time in months without playing Call of Duty, and actually fit right back in, slipped right back into landing my first place finishes all the time. Not gonna brag, but I'm pretty good at this game. No, that was a brag. I don't know if you guys caught that, but in any event, the point I'm making is that for whatever reason, I wanted to play Black Ops 3, and I did, and I'm having fun with it. Some people don't like Black Ops 3. They don't like the jumping around, boost jumping crap. They want boots on the ground. Totally understand that. If I had to choose between one or the other, I'd pick boots on the ground, but I just decided to play Black Ops 3. Now, of course, another factor that people aren't really thrilled with in Black Ops 3 and every recent Call of Duty is the microtransactions, the supply drops debacle. But if I'm being honest with you guys, and again, 100% just being honest, I know I might get some hate for this, but the supply drops are kind of the reason I keep logging on every day. In the sense that I'm really loot focused. You know, I started with Borderlands. I just love those loot-based games. And the fact that, you know, I mean, Treyarch is doing an okay job. The idea of supply drops are kind of annoying. Like, don't get me wrong, the super small chances to get the actually good weapons that you want to get are annoying. And I've actually been getting crap all out of supply drops, so I may be completely changing my mind soon. Like, frankly, if I keep playing this game and I keep getting crap all, I'm gonna really lose my desire to play this game. But it is kind of fun to log on, and every day they have, like, you know, 2 supply drops for basically it's buy one get one 50% off. You can do that once every 24 hours, and that's kind of cool. Like, I think Treyarch wasn't exactly thrilled with the whole supply drops thing. Activision was really the one forcing that issue, and I do have to say thank you to Treyarch for kind of lessening the annoyance. You know, you can burn all of your duplicates to get more keys. You now have the contracts, like you have a daily and weekly contract that doing those essentially like bounties will earn you more crypto keys, all that shit. So guys, again, I'm not like trying to say, oh, supply drops are like a great addition to Call of Duty. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying I'm glad that Treyarch made it a little bit easier. When I left the game months and months and months ago, like, none of this was in the game. There was no contracts. You just started to be able to burn duplicates. But, you know, at the very beginning of the game, you got a duplicate too bad. That was really annoying. And so things have gotten a little bit better. Now, I'm actually inserting this audio to this commentary. I recorded the rest of the commentary a few days ago, kind of on a whim, but I didn't get around to editing it until now. And just about the supply drops thing, it didn't seem so bad when I kind of began my rekindling of COD, and I've been having fun still with Black Ops 3, and I've been playing pretty much every day to try to get those 2-for-1 rare supply drops, but I've gotten crap all. Aside from this big bounty that I completed, and you'll see in the background gameplay me unlocking a bunch of stuff from that, and I had like a weapon bribe from that, which specifically got me a weapon, and that gave me the blade shooter launcher thing, which is actually kind of cool. That was like the only time I got something I actually wanted to get. Every other time, every other supply drop, I've gotten crap all. So at the beginning, it didn't seem so bad. But the reason I'm inserting this audio is I'm losing my kind of desire to play this game every time I open a supply drop. The drop rates just need to be increased. Right now, they're like 0.8%. If they were like 5%, that would be so much more reasonable. Like, people would actually not even be upset as much about this whole supply drop system. Like, it would be a kind of a cool thing that you are adding these weapons constantly every few months and you had a reasonable chance to get them. But they're just so low. Why does Activision have to be so goddamn greedy? If they're just a little bit less greedy, we'd have a pretty fun system and a way of inserting these weapons and these updates, and for, you know, making a profit and keeping the game viable for a long time to come. My god. But anyway, the original point I was making, back to that point, is simply this. Black Ops 3, to me, and to a lot of other people, is still a very fun game. And a lot of us out there, if you're watching this video, I'm sure you've had at least one Call of Duty that you've really enjoyed. Call of Duty didn't just randomly become one of the world's most popular gaming franchise. It has made some really good games. For me, Modern Warfare 2, the first 6 months before NoobTubing started, those were the days. That was the shit. I remember spring break when I was in, I think it was high school at this time, or maybe it was in junior high way back in the day, but it was spring break, the time the first Modern Warfare 2 DLC pack came out, and I basically just spent my entire spring break playing Modern Warfare 2. Sad, I know, but it was such a good game. I loved Modern Warfare 2. But the big thing about Call of Duties, and the big thing kind of, I think, preventing this franchise from going forth and supporting a thriving community, and why it's kind of dying as of late, is that they just do not support the games. The one I just mentioned, Modern Warfare 2, my jam, my bread and butter, they didn't give a shit about that game once Black Ops came out. And I did not like Black Ops as much as I liked Modern Warfare 2. I would have loved to have kept playing Modern Warfare 2, but they just did not support it. Like, not even no more DLC packs, they didn't even patch stuff. There was, like, machine guns, the MG4, this is off the top of my head, so I could be wrong here, but there was, like, guns, the MG4 machine gun, that its silencer attachment literally didn't work with it. Like, you'd shoot it with the silencer, and it would still appear on the radar. What is that BS? Like, they don't even have the time to go and patch that stuff? It's like an obvious glitch that should be fixed. And that's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. They just don't support it. Go further back than that, World at War and games like that. Even though people, like I'm sure some of you guys watching, like, love World at War, it's infested with cheaters and hackers now, and it's just not a fun experience. So there's just no support for Call of Duty games once the next one comes out. Like, Activision and the studio just move on, and they're like, fuck that game, and they let it die. And that is not a great way to, again, build the community, because you're gonna have to buy this new game every year, and then every year people decide not to buy the new game because they just don't like it as much. And that has especially happened this year, or I should say last year, with Infinite Warfare. Infinite Warfare has sold horribly. There's actually more people on Xbox right now playing Black Ops 3 than playing Infinite Warfare. And that is pretty much unheard of. When a new Call of Duty game comes out, usually the majority of the community flocks to that new game. But it didn't happen this time. And again, more people in a variety of different scenarios are playing Black Ops 3 than playing the new Call of Duty. Now, I think if you added Infinite Warfare and Modern Warfare Remastered, there'd be more people in there. But still, Black Ops 3 has a big community. So, also almost unheard of happening right now is something that really has piqued my interest, something that, again, why I'm making this video, what we're talking about, for one of the first times ever, Call of Duty Black Ops 3 is being supported as a new game is already out. Treyarch went on a live stream and said, we are supporting Black Ops 3 in 2017. That is insane. It kind of started back with Advanced Warfare. Because of the supply drops, there was kind of easy content to add, and even though the next game, which at that time was Black Ops 3, was out, Sledgehammer Games did still put some stuff into the supply drops for Advanced Warfare. But again, Treyarch has come out and said, we are supporting Black Ops 3 with a new Call of Duty game out. Now, what does that mean? No one knows. Like, this does not happen often in Call of Duty. So could they just be adding more shit into supply drops? Possibly. Even then, that's not so bad. Could they be adding new maps for free? like, and just, you know, focusing on the money they're earning from supply drops and saying, look, we're making our money through microtransactions, so we're going to introduce some free content, free new maps, maybe a new game mode every once in a while, stuff like that. The possibilities are out there. But the important part is that they are supporting the game. Activision and Treyarch are spending resources on Black Ops 3, when, again, in the past, they just let these games die. As I said earlier, other Call of Duty games, you know, COD 4, World at War, Modern Warfare 2, Black Ops, all of those games, there was no support, like, whatsoever once the new COD came out. They just let those games die, get infested by hackers. There's, like, no buffs or nerfs at all, no fixing bugs. They just completely abandoned them. But now, because the gaming community, I think gamers in general, are expecting more out of their games and are more used to games lasting longer. Look at Destiny. It's on its 3rd year and people are still playing it. Now, granted, Destiny has definitely had its problems, but, you know, I think the unity of Activision and Blizzard helped a lot as well. Blizzard, of course, made World of Warcraft. That game is still going. Diablo, like Diablo 3, has been around for several years. It's still getting patches. They're used to, look at Overwatch. There's not an Overwatch 2 coming out a year after Overwatch. It is going to get constant support for a very long time. This is the direction gaming in general is shifting in, and I think it's the direction that Call of Duty seems to be shifting in as well, which is kind of exciting. Again, a good Call of Duty, like, if you're a true fan of gaming, you're a true fan of a good Call of Duty. Again, if we look back at those amazing CODs, World at War, Modern Warfare 2, those were so fun. So there's nothing I want more than for Call of Duty to succeed, for a good Call of Duty to finally come out. Something that is as good, for me at least, as the first 6 months of Modern Warfare 2. That would be my ultimate dream. And the fact that now, maybe they're slowing down the pace of development, that they're supporting these games past their prime, that they're saying, look, if you enjoy a certain Call of Duty, if you enjoy Black Ops 3, we're not just going to leave it in the wind. We're going to continue to support it for several years. These are all good things. These are all great steps forward for the Call of Duty franchise. Now, granted, if they keep making terrible games like Infinite Warfare where the community just does not want it, all I've said is not going to be super amazing. Like, people are not going to be loving the Call of Duty franchise if, again, every game they make is crap and the trailers come out and it's like the most disliked trailer on YouTube. Like, that's when you know something might be amiss, is when you put out a trailer for your new game and it becomes one of the most disliked videos on all of YouTube. Again, there's gonna be some marketing people that were fired immediately, but in any event, aside from the Infinite Warfare debacle, the fact that they're willing to say, look, Infinite Warfare didn't work, so we're going to focus on the games like Black Ops 3 that was generally positively received from the community, from the Call of Duty community, and continue to support those games is a great thing. And in fact, the most interesting topic in all of this is, alright, so they're slowing down development potentially. They have 3 studios now, each working 3 years on Call of Duties. They have proven that the one COD every year model isn't the best, that the community had a huge pushback with Infinite Warfare, and they're continuing to support their games. So what if Call of Duty stops coming out every year? Imagine a year without a new Call of Duty. That hasn't been done in like over a decade now, which seems insane to say, but it's true. And so could they be working and could they be looking at getting Call of Duty to a 2-year development cycle? That seems to be what Battlefield is doing. Now, there was a Battlefield Hardline, but that wasn't a true Battlefield. You know, DICE didn't make it, etc. But Battlefield kind of comes out once every 2-ish years, and it seems to be a lot better received. It's gaining ground. And so Activision could be looking and saying, look, you know, maybe the community doesn't want to be fractured every year and have people stay behind and move forward and all that stuff. Maybe we should let our games mature, support our games for multiple years, and then come out with a big Call of Duty release every 2 years. That would be really, really interesting. I think that would really change the gaming landscape, and it would potentially make sense if Activision had another big franchise like, I don't know, a game called Destiny, which also has a fall release date. Like, they're kind of stepping on their own toes. They're cannibalizing their own sales, having Destiny and Call of Duty, their big flagship franchises, releasing around the same time. So I think it is definitely possible for them to skip a year with COD in favor of, a Destiny release perhaps. In any event though, slowing down development, spending more time on a game, and supporting the games they already have out is, again, great news for anyone who enjoys Call of Duty and pretty much anyone as a gamer. The big factor, I think now, whether Call of Duty as a franchise succeeds or fails, is whether or not they're able to balance microtransactions and the community. Because if they get too greedy, if they push supply drops too much, the community will just leave. They won't be interested. Infinite Warfare is doing this in droves. They don't even have fucking leaderboards in that game. They don't have leaderboards in Infinite Warfare. Like, how insane is that? And they've already added, hundreds of new camos in supply drops, right? Like, it's like, and the community is just looking at them going, what the hell is your priority here? Make the basic features of the game first before you're adding all these new weapons and camos and bullshit into these microtransactionable options. So they're really going to have to try to balance that with, people, again, are going to push back and hate me for saying this, but there is some good that microtransactions can bring, especially if they have microtransactions and they're able to offer free content, free maps, and stuff like that. I think free map packs is something that Call of Duty may actually start looking at if they continue with microtransactions, because it's something that Activision is already doing with Destiny. We're getting live updates like the Dawning, like the April update, etc., because there's also microtransactions funding them. And if you can find a balance between microtransactions and adding meaningful content like the Destiny April update, then all is well. However, you can also go too far, like the Festival of the Cost 2016. It's really a balance. In any event, guys, definitely interesting times in gaming, and I think definitely an interesting topic to talk about. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, found it interesting. If you did, and you maybe want to see more Black Ops 3 content, I don't even know, what I would make. I'm just playing it for now. But if you guys enjoyed this video, please remember to support it by simply liking, commenting, and especially sharing. Really helps the channel out. Now, if you guys want to see more Destiny content and more gaming content in general, with Mass Effect going to be something I'm definitely delving into, make sure to slap that subscribe button. If you guys want to keep up to date with the latest channel activity, the best way is to follow me on Twitter at RickCacus. That's linked in the description down below, as is my Twitch channel, which you can also follow. Again, I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, have a good day.